Hello and welcome once again back to the iConis podcast, where the icon is, well, we're not saying it yet. Before that, we got to do what we got to normally do. Thank you for tuning in. I'm one of your hosts, Barry 3D. You go by Barry Carter, but Barry 3D, Deep Dark Delicious. Hey, 112 episodes and whatever, still going strong with that joke. And as always, if you want to find out where I'm at, you can always check out barry3d.com to see any show I'm doing live. I put all my tour dates on there, along with whatever happening with our little channel here, which I love so much. As usual, I can't do this show alone, so on my side is the man, the myth, the legend, my best friend, the one that's got the turntables rocking all night long, all night, all night. Okay, the one and only
DJ Rod C. Good day, good afternoon, good morning to wherever you may be. Okay, stop it. Having too much fun, people. Having too much fun. Listen, welcome to another episode of iConis. The icon is frozen in time. We won't get to that right now, but we're gonna do the normal introductions.
That's right. We got to do a round table as usual because why? Our mama's raised, manners maketh a man, and we were raised right. Here we go. So, first and foremost, we got to send out a shout out to all the people that support the show, right? So, one, support yourselves. Shout out to yourselves, all the people that listen to the show. Like, subscribe, share, rate, and review. Don't let this show be a secret. Thank you for your support, and please keep it coming. We love it. Any questions you've got, reach out and look at our community tab. We have a community tab on our YouTube page that we have polls up that you can always comments, put your polls, vote, and have some fun. Let's be more interactive as time goes on. I really love that too. On that also, I have to do a big shout out to support the books, because without the books, we wouldn't have nothing to talk about. So if you're out in Kitchener, check out WoW Comics. And if you're out in Montreal, make the trip over to the South Shore, check out Check Swings, and tell everyone we said hi. So if you're over at WoW, tell Wes, Ramon, Sydney, Chris, we said hi. And if you're over at Check Swings, please tell Trevor, Dom, Pierre, and Pierre we said hi. And if you're heard about here on the iConis podcast. 2, big round of applause and shout out to our friend Brandy Ford, the writer and the witch. She's got her radio station on 4860 FM. I know I messed it up, but there's a link down below for the writer and the wit, which is her magazine, and we will be on there soon in the future, just chatting away and having a good time. Also, it's coming up. We got some dates there in October. We're getting some more dates coming up, and that's with the comedy troupe I'm a part of, which is A Touch of Gray Matter, which is myself, Barry 3D, along with Zulf Ali and Dave Sokolowski. We're going to be doing some fundraisers, along also with some straight-up comedy, starting off once our summer vacation, so to speak. So keep an eye out for that. Those are the boys I always whirl with. And last but not least, the man that makes us look so pretty. So if you want to do something like what we're doing, first of all, we use Podbean. If you want to find where our podcasts are out, we put them on at iconis.podbean.com. You can do the same thing too. And if you're going that way, you're going to need some templates. You're going to need a logo, and you're going to need all those kind of graphic designs. Don't knock your head looking for a graphic designer. You got to look for the man who's the hidden member from our little team here, our secret weapon on all of this going on. Rod, who am I talking about?
J Bird Digital Art.
J Bird Digital Arts. You tell Jason Reese that we said hi, and if you tell him you heard about him here on the iConis podcast, he'll give you a discount on the work that you need to get done and have it out to you in a timely manner, so you too can pursue what you want to do. Do what you like.
Let's go.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. Rod, real quick, where can we find you?
Listen, you can find me on the World Wide Web, as I always say. You can find me on Instagram at Mr. Rod C. There, you can find me on twitch.tv/DJ Rod C. You can find me on the world of TikTok at DJ Rod C1. DJ Rod C1. The number one. Now, we won't get into that before.
You are my books, man. Absolutely. And also the iConis podcast, because of everything with social media, we're on Threads. So if you're on Threads, join us on Threads. We're on Threads. You'll find us on there. We started doing some posting on there, and we're all over social media. Sweet. Now, today on the iConis podcast, Rod, who is the icon? The icon is Terrax the Terrible. Terrax the Tamer. Yeah. Yeah. Now, if you don't know who Terrax is, you're gonna learn today.
You're gonna learn today.
You're gonna learn today. We mentioned him real quick last week when we were talking about Galactus. Man looking for a good meal.
Nice.
Oh, geez. I know. I need help. I need help. So, Terrax, so Terrax, well, he's got a couple of different names. So let's just go back this way. So Terrax the Terrible, he made his first appearance in Marvel Comics in issue of 211 of the Fantastic Four. What?
Right.
We're going way back in October of 1979. Wow. So, the writer of that script was Marv Wolfman. So, let's just say Marv Wolfman, along with John Bryan, who was doing pencils, and Joe Sinnott was doing inks, and Ben Sean was doing colors. These were the creators of this character. So, he went by the name of Tyros, Tyros. And he was actually a mutant himself. So originally when he was brought in issue 211. He was brought in as a mutant with limited powers over controlling like earth, dirt, but he was and he was on a planet far, far, far away. And that's where he was found. Now, the whole story about it is at this point, for many years, Galactus had the Silver Surfer as his herald. Now, before that, he had other heralds, and in between that, too. He had Firewalker, Airmaster, all these other ones. And he realized there was a flaw with his logic, especially with the Silver Surfer really brought that to light. That all his heralds had a conscience. Like, he didn't want to do bad things.
The audacity.
He was hungry. He doesn't care if a fly lands on his muffin. He's going to eat the muffin. Just take out that part and let's decide real quick, 5-second rule. He will eat the muffin. He would say, "Oh no, there's a fly on the muffin. The muffin now belongs to the fly, Galactus. You can't eat it." And he didn't like that. He's like, "I'm hungry." He's the original version of hangry. So his new idea was to get someone less scrupulous. Someone with not really, their moral center is a little bit off kilter. Don't mind taking out a couple of people because I want to eat. So this is what turned around and brought him to this particular character. And he was looking around for other people, and he came around. He came across Tyros. And he turned around and said, he went to the Fantastic Four and he said, "Hey guys, it's a guy who I want to have as my new herald." So he went back to Earth and he goes, "If you don't want me to eat this planet after the Silver Surfer, betrayed me, y'all pull out the ultimate nullifier, you need to help me get this one guy who can help me in my situation." And Reed said, "Good idea. We'd rather have you eat someone else's planet than ours. We've gone through that stress already."
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where it kind of came into, and they went out and said, "Okay, well," and at the time too, Reed also had a problem because he had another villain called the Sphinx, who usually shows up in the original issues of Nova, the Human Rocket, Volume 1, as the antagonist, was getting overpowered, and they needed someone to fight him, and the only person they figured could fight him was Galactus, because the Sphinx could be like human size, or he can be the size of Galactus, like physically. And he had the Kai Stone that would give him all these powers, and his origin is different. And we're not going to get into this, but the point, it was a head to head. You understand that? It was in this corner we have Galactus, eater of worlds, and in this corner we have the Sphinx, manipulator of magic and worlds and realms. Right. Big John in the middle saying, "Bring it on. Are you ready? Are you ready? Fight." So this is where he came in. So Paris was a mutant on a planet called I will say Beijing, but it's Brijan.
Yep. Yeah. Bijan. Yeah, Bijan.
Yeah.
No, I
Almost
was
sound
trying
like
to figure out
Asian.
myself
So
too.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
no relation to Rihanna. No, we sure.
No,
She
no
ain't
one.
trying to take over the world, unless Pundy River. Okay, we're good.
Mm.
So this is where he comes in. He wanted to bring the Fantastic Four in to go over, deal with Tyros, help him say, hey, you should work for Galactus, but make sure they kind of work with him at first in a mission to kind of humble him, to have him in a frame of mind to work with Galactus. And he just looked at it as like, well, I'm the leader of this city state here on my home world. What are you guys going to do for me? And they promised him more power, things that can come, getting the power cosmic. And he was like, Galactus? All right, cool. No problem. I can do that. In his mind, though, he's like, for long.
I'm out.
He's the first person to put the blade in Galactus's back when he can. It's just that we didn't realize how strong Galactus was. So doing that kind of back and forth, that's how it worked out for him. And then Galactus turned around and gave him the power cosmic. And like just like you said, like a Robbie world, it's like, oh, it's amazing. I love that guy, man, on Instagram, his stories. So that's pretty much in a nutshell how his powers came to be, how he got there. And that's exactly it, because he was ruler of the city-state of Lanlac on a planetoid of Barrage. Barrage, yeah, okay, all right. And Galactus, thank you. And he selects him to be his next herald, but wishes for the superhero team, the Fantastic Four, to humble him. In return, of the cosmic entity agrees to travel to Earth and aid the heroes against the new threat, the villain, the Sphinx. So there we go. That's really about it. So it was like, hey, man, you help me, I help you guys out. And he came across and he said, all right, cool. And he gave him the power cosmic. And at first, that means it augmented his mutant powers. So he is a space mutant. He could be on the X-Men.
Let it sit there. First defense for the Shire Empire.
He had minor control over Storm, and then it was augmented to the degree because of the power cosmic. His body now, he's able to travel through the vacuum of space, black holes, move at light speed, traveling, he got all these powers. So basically a very similar power set as the Silver Surfer. Right. On par with that. Silver Surfer represents water. Terrax clearly represents stone. And his body wasn't changed to represent that. And as tough as he is, Galactus always seems like to give these guys gifts. Like Fire Lord, he gave him a flame staff. Silver Surfer, he had his cosmic surfboard. Terrax, sure, I'm going to give this guy a battle axe that can cleave through anything. Which brought me back to my thing. If Galactus was the template by Jack Kirby for the New Gods, is Galactus like Darkseid? Does this mean that Terrax is like Orion?
Very good. Very good. Interesting. Interesting, you see.
That's a fight I want to see. Orion versus Terrax the Terrible. Forget Silver Surfer. That's the fight. That's the fight of two of them going toe to toe, and it's on. Because even though he's a bad guy, he's not a chicken. He's scared of Galactus with a reason. The guy eats valid.
Just saying.
Bruh. Like, really, what are you going to do? What are you going to do against Galactus? He gave you the power. Good luck with that. So this is where Terrax comes in. And he goes around the world and he feels no way. And even though Terrax was not a herald for maybe Galactus as long as some of the other heralds that he's had before or after, so that's Nova, that's Fire Lord, that's Airwalker, that's Silver Surfer himself. Out of all of them, he fed the most with Terrax because Terrax didn't care. Terrax would go to a planet and Terrax would fight the population by himself to take them down and then call Galactus to kind of say, all right, the planet's ready. where Silver Surfer and the rest of them would never do that. They wouldn't take away the life that was already on the planet. Terrax would show up and it's like, come at me, bro. Like,
let me show you what I got for you guys. What?
5 across the eyes.
Yeah, literally 5 across the eyes. Holy
5 across the eyes. He's got a rebellious nature, but that's what he would do. He would show up there. He would try to take over people. He would try to take over, be their new leader until Galactus gets there. So he would profit as much as possible using the power cosmic that he had within him. And keep in mind, he's a world shatterer. Like, he's got power over stone and anything very similar around that. So he would do that to his advantage. And, you know, at one point he would try to run away from Galactus. He knows he couldn't beat him. So at one point he tried to run away from Galactus, turns around, and when Galactus went looking for him or calling for him, he hit himself in a black hole. And this is where Galactus recruited like Dazzler to help him pull Terrax out of the black hole. And it's like, oh, hey, were you looking for me, boss?
My apologies.
My apologies. I didn't know. Okay, I'll get you something to eat. But he ate the most. Galactus ate the most because of Terrax. Terrax had no qualm of who was on that planet. If it was a planet that was suited enough for Galactus, he would call Galactus for Galactus to feed. And because he was afraid of him, he was not going to let him starve. But he didn't care about anyone else that was on there. So he was the most ruthless, bloodthirsty of all the heralds, which I thought was a nice change.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, because he's realizing, he doesn't look in black and white. He just basically said, "I hunger, feed me." So the directive is, "I created you as a herald. Find me food." Okay, I got you, boss. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
No question. Like there's no second thought on it. So you're definitely right. He was it's a different type of, it's a good take, because that type of character, if I hunger, your sole job is to find. I don't need to negotiate with you like I had to negotiate with other people to figure out, you know, just to get my ends all done up. No. This is good. I like this.
Yeah. And then finally, you know, Terrax is smart enough that he had a rebellious nature that he turned around and was like, okay, man, I'm going to take this fight on myself. And at one point, Terrax, because everyone knows where Earth is, so Terrax made his way back to Earth. And even his stature is imposing. Like, when you see him, like, John draws him, and you see Terrax standing there very regal, holding his battle axe, you know, with one hand, standing straight up on a meteorite that he's controlling to help him teleport and to transport himself to Earth. And that's how he flies through the galaxy. So he goes to Earth, gets there, and tells the Fantastic Four and other heroes, is like, hey, I need you to attack Galactus and take him down to stop him once and for all. And they're like, okay, well, why should we? And he used his powers and raised the island of Manhattan to the upper atmosphere with all its inhabitants and said, either you guys stop Galactus or this planet becomes a new asteroid floating through space with everybody living on it.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? Do you comprehend? Thank you very much. I'll bring him over here. Yeah, that's exactly.
I don't know how many people are. I don't know how many people are on the island of Manhattan, but he turned around and did that. No qualms about it. And the thing is, they knew he wasn't bluffing. They knew he wasn't bluffing. What blows my mind is to show you the level of power within Terrax alone. Okay, so he used his powers to lift the island of Manhattan with all its inhabitants to the upper atmosphere and said, I will toss it into space and we're done. Or you do this. Let's go through all the people on the island of Manhattan at this time. Now, I'm not talking the regular, citizens. Let's talk about people within the superhuman community and then understand that they all have villains in Manhattan, which is about, they're outnumbered 5-1. Easy. Superpowered. So we have the Fantastic Four that lives on the island of Manhattan, right? Then a block over is Avengers Mansion. A block away from them is the Hellfire Club. All right. Earth's mightiest heroes, the Fantastic Four and the Hellfire Club. I know the Hellfire Club are not heroes, but they are super powered. So that's what he's messing with, along with your independents of Spider-Man, Iron Fist, Luke Cage. So we're talking Thor. We're talking Miss Marvel if she's there. We're talking As I said, the Fantastic Four with their friends. We're talking She-Hulk. Okay. That's any given day. Like there's Nova. There's about 200 heroes in New York alone. I don't know how crime happens. And then we got to look at all the villains. Look at all of Spider-Man's rogue gallery. Majority of his rogue gallery are based in New York. So that's Octopus, that's Vulture, that's Kraven, that's Venom, that's Sandman. That's some heavy hitters right there. Green Goblin. Okay. All right. The Hellfire Club, they have all the people that work underneath them, right? That's the Hellions. Okay. All right. The man called Nova, that Condor, the Powerhouse. Okay. All right. The list goes on of how many heroes are in New York. Like Hercules. The Avengers has got the big roster. That's Thor, that's Hercules, that's Black Panther, that's Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Spider-Woman, Captain America, Iron Man with all his versions of armor.
Right.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange. We got a whole bunch of people. I
forgot about him. Doctor Strange. All right, that's another powerhouse right there in himself. Who knows? By the time maybe you raised the island of Manhattan, maybe you had some of the X-Men on there because they like to go drinking around in a bar in Manhattan, like Wolverine's around there somewhere, right? And if Wolverine's there, Nightcrawler's there, and Colossus is trying to talk him out of doing anything bad. Okay. So there we go. So there's usually about 200, and I'm not even exaggerating. There's about two. If you really went through it, you'll see about the 200 heroes on the island of Manhattan in any given time. And then, of course, you got their villains. And I said there's about 5 villains to each one hero. There's a lot of superpowered people that he just hoisted up there and say, hey, either you take care of this or off you go. And they all turn around and said, all right, let's go and do that. And they try to attack Galactus. They try to bring him down, and they attacked his world ship. Galactus comes to Earth. It was a big throw-out fight. They almost defeated him because he was low on food. So low food, low power, low bat, 15% charge battery. And they almost beat him, but he pulls it off because he's Galactus. And then Galactus realizes what happened of who started this whole rebellion, which was Terrax. So he takes away Terrax's powers while Terrax is in the air. Because you control stone doesn't mean you can fly.
Just saying. You may fall. Gravity takes an effect at that particular moment. Just saying.
Just saying is right. Let's put it this way. Stone, gravity wins, okay? You don't have the power to flight and sustain yourself anymore. So he fell from many, many, many stories up. And of course, survived. Barely. Because of his alien physiology. Mm-hmm. He couldn't move, all the bones in his body broken. They wrap him up, and some good Samaritan took him to a hospital. Didn't know who he was, because now he's not in his stone features. He's back to a humanoid-looking feature. And they take him over to a hospital. He's been in the hospital for months and months and months and months. And then finally someone says, hey, I've got a plan. Where am I going? To New York to find him. And tracks him down, breaks him out of the hospital, brings him back to his hometown, and starts to take care of him to heal him up again. And that nice individual is no other than Dr. Doom.
Oh, Victor.
The doctor is in the house, and when Dr. Doom is into something, he's got a plan. And Dr. Doom turned around and gave him back part of the power cosmic. And then said, hey, you know who's to blame for your downfall? Fantastic Four. Why don't you go and have a conversation with them, and I'll be right behind you.
Yeah. You start ahead. I'm just going to go to the coffee shop and get some coffee. You want anything? I'll meet you up. Just go ahead. I'll meet you. And sure enough, he'll walk in after us.
Yeah. So instead of, Dr. Doom stealing the power cosmic like he did with the Silver Surfer, he just sent Terrax on with a makeshift glider, some power armor. At this point, he was Taros. Once again, he was back to Taros and not Terrax. And off he went. So he still had his mutant powers of controlling Earth, but it's a little bit augmented, but not as much as when he's Terrax. And when he went to fight the Fantastic Four, once again, that was a big blow-up fight. He got his butt handed to him, to a certain degree. I mean, he really them through the paces. And it seemed like he ended up dying. But, no one ever dies in the Marvel Universe. People always comes back. And it was a great fight, though, because, as I said, he was fighting him at shopping mall. The art was really good. It was John Bryan once again that was illustrating that, and I love John's art. And of course, when you get Doctor Doom in it, that's where Doctor Doom to me really stood out. He wasn't there as the aggressor; he was there as the manipulator. Smart. Like, why should I take the lumps? Let this guy go and do it. I give him a little bit more power, and he can be able to take him down.
Right.
And it got to a point where the two, Silver Surfer, wind of what was happening. That the Fantastic Four was getting their butts handed to him by Tyros, which was really Terrax. He went over there, and the two of them started going head to head. Now, once again, he's not at full strength. He gave the Surfer a run for his money to a certain degree, and then the Surfer just turned it up a notch. The only reason I think that fight was going one way is because Tyros is a fighter. He's a scrapper. He's a dictator. He's a warlord. That's what he was before he got the power cosmic. He feels no way of saying off with their heads and going on about his business. Where Norrin Rad, the Silver Surfer, only fights because he has to, not because he wants to or he enjoys it. Where the other one thrives off of it. So Norrin Rad as a Silver Surfer is not trying to go, as I said before, for the killing blow, but Taros is. And once Surfer turns up the aggression, well, let's just say, poof, he kind of went into dust.
That was it. That was it.
That was it. That was it. Done. Poof. Of course, he does come back resurrected. And next time we see Taros, he comes back and, some scientists found some cosmic radiation in the dirt. And they try to use a machine to kind of cipher it out. And it brought him back, and he used somebody's body as a host to kind of reform himself as Terrax the Terrible. And now he was kind of, he looked now like the Terrax. He wasn't at full strength. And his first fight was in an annual of Thor with the first appearance of the New Warriors. So that's Night Thrasher, Kid Nova, even though it's the same Richard Rider as Nova, but they call him Kid Nova. So it's Night Thrasher, Kid Nova, Namora, Astro Boy, Firestar. I think that was the whole team at the time. And they went to fight Terrax the Terrible along with Thor. So even depowered, they needed the God of Thunder still there to help back up, to get it back. And then, of course, he's come back and forth. But I really wanted to talk about Terrax because, once again, he's just ruthless.
Yeah.
And it was surprising that Galactus had to be in a certain frame of mind to finally turn around and say, I've taken the nice guys. I need a bad boy to help me get me fed. And to Galactus's logic, it worked. That was the time he hungered the least because of Terrax. But he was fed up of always being betrayed by him, his rebellious nature, of Terrax always trying to bring him down. Terrax want to confront him head on. So Terrax, as a dictator, you're not just dumb and just going to go in there and start punching everything. He's going to think of ways to do it. He's smart. And that's what kind of ended his whole thing, even though he was on top of it. So I've been blabbing a lot. Rod, what was your take on Terrax the Terrible?
Listen, Terrax, he was, like you said, he's a very interesting character. We'll start off, like you said, with Galactus. Galactus realized that he needed something different, and having someone who was, let's go back to his initial, when he was Tyros, he was basically the ruler of a city-state of Lanax, right? So basically, you're dealing with someone who's basically a politician, someone who knows what needs to be done, and basically realizing, like, okay, you don't beat around the bush. You cut straight to the source. This is what you want done, for you to become a ruler or a high statesman at that time. You're not a softie. You're someone who can lay it down and let people know, listen, this is what I asked for. Why are we still in the room? What? Listen, meeting adjourned. Why are we still in the room? I decreed something. Go. So, I like that basically that particular mindset, Galactus had someone who basically said, you know what? I need someone who is ruthless, but he realized I need to humble him a little bit, just in case you have the twinkle in your eye that you may just be You might be a little bit too crazy for me, but I'm going to watch you. I'm going to give you the powers. So to me, that was great. So I liked it from that standpoint. And like you said, when you actually see the imagery of him, he's no small guy. He's no, fit tone type of individual, slim, cut. He's a beast of a man. He's a beast of an individual, humanoid who's just basically like, oh, the tamer, the Terrax. Oh, he doesn't look like. I don't think we can talk to him. I think he's just here to hurt people. Run hither and yonder. Run to the hell. That's exactly it. So he just gave you that type of imagery. So I liked it that basically I need a herald who can basically get the job done. I decree and declare, I hunger. Can you get the job done? All right, boss, I'll be back. Boss man, I'm gone. Boss man, I got you. I got you, boss man. Gone. Do what he has to do. Yeah. Come back and say, listen, I got a place for you. Listen, go up the street, make a left at the lights, and there's a planet. While you're doing that, I'm going to check someplace else. I heard something on the other side of town. I'll be back. Bam. Gone. No questions asked. So I like that type of, scenario that we've had, we're seeing a herald who is rootless and who just gets the job done. But Galactus is smart enough to realize, I can see the twinkle in your eye. I may need to just bring you down a notch. Because if I add the cosmic, the power cosmic to you where you are, it's going to, you know what? Here's a good example. When you watch the Captain America First Avenger, when they say when you get the super serum, it basically enhances who you are, your qualities at that time. It just gives you that qualities 10 times full. What happened to the Red Skull? The Red Skull was a devious person, and he was just 10 times fold, much more than that. Steve Rogers was a good individual, good man of the, good man of the land. 10 times more.
Salt to the earth.
Salt to the earth. So Galactus realizing this and realizing, if I give this boy the power cosmic, I think he can get the job done for me. But I'm gonna have to watch out for him. So let me knock him down a notch, and then let him expand at that level, so I don't have to worry. Which is, guy's a good leader. He's a good guy, the Galactus guy. He's a good guy. He understands what he wants done. So I would see that was a great thing in that regard. And again, when you start to see the way he's drawn, the imagery and everything like that, you get that New Gods type of feel of, persona. That's just someone that, we're dealing with someone right now. So everybody's favorite, favorite bad guy. If you're a bad guy, but I think I'm gonna like you. There's something about you I like. I like the twinkle in your eye, there, son. You going places. So beat around the bush to say that. You go in places, and that's what I want. So again, I like Terrax for that. He's not a complicated man. That's how I look at it. He's not a complicated man. You hear the stories. He's just like, get the job done. He's the enforcer. Again, these small little things you say, but you start to realize it. Galactus is a gangster. He's a big, the big mob. Like, I send my enforcer ahead of me to get the job done. I got you, boss. When they see him flying up, like, oh, snap. Terrax is here. People run to the hills. The hills can't save you. Because why? I have earth-bending qualities. Right? I was a special guest in the last Airbender. I'll bring the mountain. Go to the mountain. Hold a second. Mountain, come to me. What were you saying? Were you trying to run away from me? No. That's what I thought.
Is Plymouth Rock coming to us? Yes, it is.
100%. Yeah,
that's what the fun thing about this character is, man. He's just 100% devious. Like, as I said before, right? Love to see a throwdown between him and Orion. Okay, let's put it now within the Marvel universe. I would love to see, more of Terrax and not depowered. I want to see more of his adventures as Terrax because a lot of times he started his own armies. When Galactus was feeding on one planet, he went to another planet, started his own armies, his own dictatorships, and take over that way. And there's a lot of spacefaring planets out there. I'm surprised I didn't see him more in stuff like, as you put it, you said the Shi'ar before. How come he didn't show up more to those planets? Because what's the Shi'ar going to do against him? Like, I would love to see. Oh my gosh, I can picture the character's name there from the. He's got a mohawk. I talk about him all the time.
From
the Shi'ar, the Imperial Guard.
Yeah. That's.
See, this is what happens when we go mind blank sometimes, people. So Terrax taking on one of the Imperial Guard. Oh my God, their version of their Superman character. And he's got a mohawk, a red cape. He's got the. Okay, I'm gonna have to go to this. Yeah, I was just trying to make a point there. Imperial Guard. So we go. Let's see here. And we do Marvel. Yeah, see, sometimes when the gray matter goes, the gray matter goes. And then see who's gosh almighty. I know I'm gonna pick Gladiator.
Gladiator. Thank you. That's what I'm about to my mouth. Literally, I was saying Gladiator. That was it.
They got the same skin color. They got the same, color in their costumes, the red and the yellow and the grays. So Gladiator with Terrax. That's the fight that needs to happen. Okay, why did not that happen before? I don't know. And this is like I'm talking old school Gladiator before they retcon some of his powers or. No, I want to see that fight of why is it Gladiator that keeps Terrax away? I don't know, and that's it. Terrax is a politician. He's a dictator, but because he's a dictator, he is a politician. He is a war-minded person, so he understands tactics and strategies, be it on the battlefield and off, and everything is always a gain for him. He's always looking to have an advantage. He's not cowardly. He knows his powers and he knows them very well. And I think he really loves using his powers a lot more than the other heralds did. The other heralds just like being in space and free and said, "Hey, save my planet." He's like, whatever, take it down. I'm going here. Take this one down. I'm going here. By the way, I've got my own army, Galactus. Oh, they're not tough enough to fight you. All right, you know what? Just eat their planet. I want to find another who's going to take you down. I need someone who's I'm stronger than just by smidgen, but dumb enough to follow me that I can lead them and lead from the back and pull the Cobra Commander. Fight you later! Because I don't want you to take away these powers because I'm enjoying them too much.
Right.
Okay, so we've got that covered. I think Terrax, even though he hasn't been used as much as I would love to see him used, here it comes down to, Rod. How would you like to see Terrax portrayed going forward? Or, how would you adapt Terrax into the world of the MCU?
The MCU. I would actually like to see him live action. Now, here's a reason why. Because we've had a character, an IP, Korg, who was basically similar type of structure, similar type of build, a rock, like a rock humanoid type, a purple type of humanoid type of scenario. I'm just trying to get the reference there. And we like how Korg looked like. We like how Korg looked like. And I would like to see a live CGI. It'll be CGI, but have him interacted with live individuals. I say it will look perfectly. Showing the ability that you have, his earth bending skills, his earth manipulation, able to move the, plates and create earthquakes and all that kind of stuff. I would like to see that. And I think it'll actually look good having that realism, that real type of dust falling as everything. It just, to me, I think I would like to have a full battle fighting, like, fighting Captain Marvel, fighting Gladiator, and you're just basically doing stuff, grabbing Earth and just ragdolling them all over the place. So yeah, I would like to see that. And now, because it's not going to be physical human, it's going to be CGI. That's the only way you have to get that same type of body mass. You have to look upon him and literally the audience have to look at him and have we really have to deal with him. That's the part I wanted. Similar to the same thing. Oh Lord, help me, be
Thanos.
Not Thanos. Thanos is one, but Thanos, herald, like one, the one who came down with the hammer. You know, when Spider-Man first meets him.
Ronan.
Hey, Mr. Spark, huh?
Ronan. You mean Ronan
not Ronan. No, not Ronan. Not Ronan. Not Ronan. When
Ronan's my life person. Yeah, okay, I know you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Like, hey, Mr. Spark, how are you doing? Like, who's this guy? He's here to steal a wizard. That individual in that battle, I wanted someone like that. Basically, you're looking like saying, dig deep. Okay, let's go in. That's the imagery I want. So I want to have that. And with that, I want to have someone who basically can do the two persona. So I want him to have the ability to speak and first make us, hear Tyros, and then have the ability to voice change and become Terrax. So the person I wanted to have as that person would be his name again, Kerry Payton. Kerry Payton, he does a lot of voice work. We know him for a whole bunch of different stuff. We can say he's on Young Justice, he's Aqualad, he's Cyborg on Teen Titan, he is Black Citizen on Invincible, right? But here's where I want to get the transition. He's also, this is the same individual who was in Walking Dead, who played a king with the white dreads.
Oh, the one that had the tiger. The tiger. Okay, you're talking to him,
right? Yes. So that's the same person who's the voice. That's him. So because he's played that type of character who was a politician, a leader. This realm, he was playing a king. Now, he really wasn't a king. He was really just he was a zookeeper, if I remember correctly, and he just mentally kind of said, you know what?
Yes, he played King Ezekiel. Yes.
Ezekiel, that's it. King Ezekiel. So he played King Ezekiel. So this is to me where he's going to have that transition of having the voice aptitude of being a little bit rougher than King Ezekiel, but still having the politician type of conversation like Aqualad from Young Justice.
Okay.
That's where it's at. But then because he's a voice actor, he will be able to give you that base, that bottom end kind of conversation when he now turns into Terrax and just says, I'm taking you out. Sign over your wills right now. Just get your house in order. I'll give you time. Although it really makes a difference because the planet's gonna be dead afterwards. But I'm giving you the opportunity to feel that you actually have a chance. You don't got no chance.
No chance. No chance.
No chance.
No chance in hell.
Right. So
love it. Okay.
So I would like to have Kerry Payton as my voiceover for Terrax.
Well done, sir. Well done. Touche, sir. Touche. Yeah, chip. Cheerio. So I like that. I like that because I see what you're going with in your vision. Okay. So here I am. I'm going to turn around. We're going to fan cast it. So you got your fan cast. That was your fan cast, your vision for it. So with you, I want someone that's live action. I'm going to go with that for sure. My introduction to Terrax the Terrible, I know a lot of times that when the Fantastic Four, they always bring in the Silver Surfer first, and then they bring in Galactus because they go with that whole kind of storyline dynamic and all that. I would change it up because I know the MCU diverts a little bit sometimes to the source material. So here's my diversion to kind of make it fit to bring in Terrax. I would bring him in the sense of, instead of the Silver Surfer seen as a fallen angel, so to speak, I would bring them in as kind of a Cain and Abel scenario and write it that way, right? Not Galactus. And instead, why have one herald when you can have two doing the work for you, right? And his logic would be of, well, I got one that has a social conscience and I have one that has none. Let me see who can help me feed the most. Silver Surfer, let Silver Surfer still come to Earth, discover Earth first, kind of go through an arc that way within a Fantastic Four movie. And then him realizing, hey, I can't have the Earth be sacrificed for Galactus's hunger. You guys are a growing planet with thoughts and feelings. You remind me of my home planet. I can't have this done. So in the sense of instead of because it always seemed a little bit out of character that Silver Surfer came to Earth, summoned Galactus, then got to know them, then had Sue Storm kind of change his mind, and then he wanted to stop Galactus, right? That always seemed a little bit out of character for what the Silver Surfer would represent. So in my vision, Silver Surfer comes to Earth, right, getting ready to send the beacon. Misunderstanding, he fights the Fantastic Four because you always have to have heroes fight. He realizes what's going on, and then say, okay, guys, you know what? And have this as a part one of a movie. Like I said before, Galactus shows up in a Fantastic Four movie. It have to be like a trilogy, Fantastic Four. The last movie has to be in two parts. Part one is Arrival of the Silver Surfer. Go through that, them trying to stop him, them trying to deal with it, and have Doom in there trying to kind of still somewhat steal his powers as a sub story. Right? Might be a lot going on, but you build up to it. Then he decides, well, I'm not going to send the beacon because I don't want you guys to get taken out by my master. I got to find a way to make sure you're never discovered. And they're like, well, once you don't, and the Fantastic Four, if you don't send the beacon, we're good. And he's like, no, there's another guy I work with. And then
it's my coworker.
Exactly. Flash over to Terrax and have it play out that Terrax would almost follow Norrin Rad. So he would follow the Silver Surfer. And if the Silver Surfer didn't call Galactus to a planet and he would leave, Terrax would turn around and call Galactus because he doesn't care if there's people there or not. He's just going to say, hey, I'm going to let Silver Surfer do the hard work, but I'm going to profit. So for every 5 planets that Silver Surfer discovers, he might only call Galactus once. I'm going to wait till he leaves and he thinks the planet is safe. And when I know he's away and I can't sense him anymore, I'm going to call Galactus and let Galactus eat the other 4 planets. So when it goes back to it, it's like, well, Surfer, you provided me 1 planet out of 5 you find. And Terrax, you supplied me 4 out of 5
4 out of 4. 4 out of 4. But at that time, you did 4. Because you only need to 4. It'd be like 4 to 1. Terrax, you have special
exactly
with me today.
And then, and of course, that to me would start the fight between the two of them because Silver Surfer's like, what do you mean? He goes, remember this planet? Yeah, well, you said no, but Terrax called me. And that's how I found that planet, and I drained it. When you found this planet, you said no and flew off. Terrax called me, and I drained that. So now that sets up a proper dynamic for this conflict for the Silver Surfer to be finally mad Terrax for having those planets drained when he said not to. And for him to look at Galactus a certain way, saying, hey, I was working for you, find new planets to save, to find, and really put into the fact of, well, Surfer, you're better at finding the planets, but you're bad at making the final decision on if I should eat or not. So I need someone that's less scrupulous that would still call me regardless of what. So that's my whole setup. So my Silver Surfer come in there, go through the whole thing of Earth, part 1, Terrax shows up, and it's like, and part 2 says, hey, I'm calling him. This is a really rich planet. I can't wait till the Surfer leaves. I'm calling Galactus now. That leads into a fight.
Yep.
Right. That would lead into a fight of Silver Surfer fighting Galactus. Sorry, Silver Surfer fighting Terrax.
Fighting Terrax. Yep.
Sorry, Silver Surfer fighting Terrax first with the aid of the Fantastic Four. So this could be also maybe part 1 in a movie. Part 2, or how you want to split it up, right? And then it leads into Galactus finally showing up. And then the Silver Surfer is going to team up with the Fantastic Four. The Watcher comes in. This is where the Ultimate Nullifier comes in. But Terrax is still working for Galactus against Silver Surfer. He's working with Galactus against the Fantastic Four, against the Watcher. So he's fighting still for the side of Galactus only because he doesn't want to lose the power cosmic and he's afraid of get taken away. So that's his sole motivation is self-preserving. So that's where I think this story should come in because that's in my mind how it'd make more sense. Right?
Not a bad thought.
Right.
Like again, we talked about Silver Surfer before on Galactus, but now that we add Terrax to the conversation, this storyline actually sounds really nice.
Yeah, that's a Cain and Abel situation. We know Galactus is that godly figure, okay, and one is good, one is evil, and they have their ideologies that are fighting, and this is why Silver Surfer would not call him. This is why Terrax would kind of underhandedly call him to profit and look good in everybody's eyes. Now, being said, a lot of times I feel that when people get cast as characters, I wanted to go really outside the box. So I'm not gender swapping or anything like that at all. But I think that, and it's just like how the artists are, and I'm not knocking it. I really wanted to go on a limb here with Terrax. So this time with Terrax, I would cast an actor named Sunil Shetty, S-H or Chiti. I know how it sounds, but it's Shetty. He's a big Bollywood actor. He does a lot of action movies. I like when he speaks. If you see him, he's got the hair, he's got the beard, and he looks really good when he has a beard. He's a little bit of an older actor, but his physique is sick. He does action movies already in Bollywood. He's huge in Bollywood, and even when when he's speaking English, he's got that accent to it, that Indian accent, which I would not change, because we're now we're always thinking, every time we think medieval, it's always an English accent. And if it's someone in outer space, it's an English accent. Who says outer space always has to have a UK English accent? Why can it not be an Indian accent, which I think still has a presence when they're talking? This guy has played action heroes. He's played villains. So that's his full name is Sunil, and his last name is Shetty. And he's got that jawline. That's it. He's done action hero movies, good guys, bad guys. I think he would bring a different spin being Terrax and Tyros. So have him as Tyros, human form as a dictator. Okay, we're good to go. And then when he gets the power cosmic, all right, then update his look a little bit to make him Terrax. Now, is it going to be total CG or some makeup? Because I looked at when they did Ronin, the Inquisitor. He was just in costume and human with makeup on and so forth. So physically, he wasn't as big as we're used to seeing how Ronin is depicted in the comic books. But I think it was nice to kind of get away from the CG. So I would see him doing Terrax with makeup, costume, give him the battle axe, let him have the powers. Because I know as reading a comic book, if someone can lift 100 tons, they got to look like they lift 100 tons. But then you look at the Silver Surfer, he's a very slender person who can lift 100 tons. So not everyone has to be overly physically impressive. Like 400 pounds, rock like a wall. That's how it's drawn. But in real life, I would say give him the costume, the makeup. Don't tell him to use an American accent. Don't tell him to use a British accent. Let him talk in his normal voice, his normal, for him, his normal dialect, his normal accent. It would add more to the character. Here, he's like, who are you? I am Terrax the Terrible. You have no idea what you're dealing with today, my friend. Oh, jeez. You know how cutthroat that sounds? I'm not making fun of that. I'm really...
No. It could be, yeah.
When you hear, people from India, they get upset, get mad, or they're making threats, that sounds even more menacing. Let's use that to sell the character. Let him really get into the role of being the bad guy and sticking with it. There's no really redeeming qualities. He's self-serving. That's where he comes in. And that's who I want to see play Terrax the Terrible or Terrax the Tamer.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, cool. So that's a good take. Yeah, I like the different point of view and the different, aspect of, again, everybody always thinking that it has to be a North American type of dialect and stuff like that. So definitely, listen, there are many, many different actors, many different cultures, many different people on this planet who can fit the role. Let's
and he's huge
broaden it up.
I think.
Yeah, no, I'm good with that. I'm definitely good. I see your vision. I see what you're saying.
So that's my storyline. That's my vision. And this is where Terrax fits in. And then, like you were saying, Terrax fighting Gladiator, Terrax dealing with a Shi'ar. That's a great way to have Galactus or Terrax, or even Terrax in his own Disney Plus series. I'm looking for things for Disney Plus for Marvel. Okay, you want to get away from some of this stuff? All right, let's get away from Earth for a bit. There's a whole lot of in the galaxy that's going on that he can have his own standalone miniseries of Terrax the Terrible on Shi'ar. Dealing with the Skrull planet. Well, I mean, in the MCU, it's not there anymore, but other planets similar, and bring in some of the other races that we've seen in the last Thor, the Thor movies, right? Because that's where they kind of touched on them, lead up to them, and and go into those and see what happens to him. Really follow him from beginning to end, from Tyros to have flashbacks to him. How did he become a dictator? Who did he have to fight? Who did he have to outsmart? Be the dictator on his planet, that city state? And how did he keep that state in fear of him and others at bay? Up to the point he became Terrax. So there's a lot there that we can expand on without depowering the character.
Gotcha.
That's my 2 cents.
All right.
Well, listen, any other last words there, Rod?
I think we've done a good take on Terrax and just giving our viewpoints on this character. It's always good to have to build on IPs that, like you said, we always like to bring IPs that, that normally everybody doesn't think about. And this character, yes, he is not per se a villain per se, but he is a character who has a very mean, who's very devious. That those type of characters it's not normally portrayed or brought to the forefront. If they're doing something by themselves. This is connected with this IP is connected to a larger IP, Galactus, Silver Surfer, being a herald. So he has a foot stamp in the MCU. Listen, as we were saying, we're now talking about bringing in Fantastic Four is now coming around the final bend to make their appearance. When that does happen, we're going to open up that lane of Fantastic Four IPs. I can definitely say, yeah, Terrax could definitely be there in that realm and be able to come to the forefront without a problem. Could easily be brought in without a problem.
For sure. As I said, I'll tell you that I'll agree with you 100%. And I mean, when that Fantastic Four movie comes around, we'll see how it is. I mean, hopefully they just do a flashback origin. I would love to see movie 1 deal with the Mole Man, movie 2 deal with Doctor Doom, movie 3 and part 1 and 2 deal with Galactus, with Silver Surfer and Terrax, and that's how I'd wrap up their trilogy altogether. Here we go. From the low Earth to on Earth to outer space. That's the way they should deal in the Fantastic Four. Well, on that note, it brings us to another episode, the closing of the episode of the iConis podcast. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, watching, listening, like, subscribe, share, and also please check out our community tab. Scroll down. We have a lot of polls that still need to be answered and clicked on, and one click makes the difference. And, let us know what you think. And, maybe you agree with what we pick. Maybe you don't agree, or you have a different person in mind that we might have not, or a different version we didn't see. So please let us know. We get back to everybody. We appreciate it so much. And of course, if you can, check out our Patreon page too. Don't forget that. And I've got some other stuff in the future coming up. So hopefully you'll see me sooner than later on doing some video game streaming on Twitch or Rod DJs. Okay, Rod does the DJing. I'll play video games. There we go. This has been the iConis podcast. On behalf of myself, Barry 3D, and my cousin,
Rod C.
We wish you a good end of day, beginning of day, whenever you choose to listen to us. And remember, this whole world was created by a pencil, a piece of paper, and lots of imagination. Keep on dreaming.
To me, my battle axe. No, actually, I don't know if it can come like that.
He probably can call it. I was thinking more to me, my knife and fork. I got to get to the Mandarin buffet and pretend I'm Galactus.
Oh, we're out.
Yeah, we're out. That's what we done.